Hey guys, what's going on? So we back on the build on the XV500. Well, not technically speaking, it's not back on the build because I was never off it. Just because I didn't post any videos doesn't mean I'm not working on this thing. I've been working off camera for a little bit, just doing some little details, little things that are not interesting. So I didn't even bother filming them, you know, like tidying up the electrics and routing some wires and cables and reconnecting some other things. You'll be surprised how much this little finishing details, you know, how much time they take. But today I'm back on something that has been bothering me for quite some time, but it was a small job, so I was always putting it off and off and off until it creeps back on you and you just need to do it. Luckily it's a small project, so let's do this today. Right, so what I've got here is the headlight bucket, the headlight cowl kind of thing that holds all the electrics inside and obviously holds the headlight. It came originally with the bike. I kind of like the shape of it. Obviously it needs painting, but that's a different story. It's all hidden in a fairing, so it doesn't really matter. But I want to make it right. I want to just make it perfect. But the problem is, obviously it's got a hole in the back of it for all the wiring to go through, but I also got a hole on the top and on the bottom. I don't know why. There was obviously a reason for it, but yeah, it's there and I want to deal with it. The previous owner stuck some sellotape on top of that to make it waterproof, which, fair play, worked, you know. But if you got a road bike, it probably works absolutely fine. But no, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna stick sellotape or gaffer tape or duct tape on it. We're gonna do it properly. So I got some fiberglass. He only needs just a little bit, and then I can work it on top. So let's do this. The first thing I want to do, I want to just get some sandpaper and rub the surface inside on both sides when I'm gonna apply my fiberglass. So it's got some kind of surface to stick on. Also ensure that's free from any grease or anything. Not that there's any grease inside, but any kind of contamination will stop it from sticking properly. So I will just do that now. Right, now it's all nice and solid. Let's make it look pretty. Right, so the first layer of some body filler, and it's very rarely you can get it perfect for the first time. And as you can see, you got some imperfections and pinholes one side or the other when was just not enough. It was too much on one side, not enough on the other side, especially when you got larger area to fill in. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill it in just one more time, very gently. Don't need much anymore, but I want to make it as good as it can be. Let's get on it. There we go, guys. Second coat, well, second layer of body filler, and it's as perfect as it can be, I think, at this stage. When I run my finger through it, even without looking at it with my eyes closed, I cannot feel any kind of change of texture or imperfections anywhere. And visually inspecting that as well, that's pretty smooth. Obviously, I'm gonna sand it all down a little bit, degrease it, and then get some primer on it, and then paint. And obviously, I can finesse it there just with a primer and paint. But that's later, you know. I'm not worried about it now. Dry build, I'm gonna paint it later. This is as good as it gets right now. Good stuff. So there we have it, guys. This little guy is ready to be primed and painted. But not just yet. I'm not worried about paint right now. I mean, when I'm gonna prime this, because it's plastic, I'm gonna prime this fairing at the same time and paint it later. But this is as good as it gets right now. I'm happy with it. It's fixed, out of the way, tick, moving on. And that brings me to another point about bike building, or maybe not building but modifying, because let's face it, I'm not really building this bike, I'm modifying it to the extreme, really, because if you look at it how it looks originally and how it looks right now, it's completely different. Even little part like this, messing about, like, was it 2 hours yesterday, 2 hours today, something like this, and there's gonna be a couple more hours painting that and finessing that so it looks perfect. It's all part of the bigger picture, so don't look at a building or modifying your bike as a one huge project. Yes, it is, but you can chop it down to smaller chunks, smaller pieces, like this for example, and that's part of it. That's probably not the most important part of it, and not the most difficult, but it's a part of it, of a bigger build, of a bigger picture, if you like it, of modifying your vehicle. Whatever you do, make sure you do it safe, because it's your asses on this bike, and make sure you don't cut corners, you know, especially when it comes to safety. Okay, this is probably not going to harm anybody if you leave the hole over there, apart from electrics maybe, but modifying a subframe or building a subframe like I did on this bad boy from scratch, make sure you know what you're doing when you're doing that, you know. I encourage you to go work on your bikes, but make sure it's safe. Alright guys, that's it for today. That's going back on the bike, and hopefully I'm gonna have some update on the petrol tank on the next episode. But until then, thank you very much for watching, rock hard, have a beer, and I'll see you next time.